Let me tell you something strange about people who are tired of existing. Not tired of life exactly. Not suicidal. Not hopeless in the dramatic sense, just tired. We live in a world where existence is supposed to be exciting, where waking up is framed as a gift, productivity as purpose, and resilience as virtue. Yet some people wake up each day not wanting to disappear, but not wanting to continue either. And here asks the question that always lingers beneath the surface. What does it mean when simply existing starts to feel heavy? At first glance, it's easy to misunderstand them. You might assume they're depressed, lazy, ungrateful, burnt out, or that they just need rest, motivation, or a change of scenery. But that's not the full picture. Beneath the surface, there's an entire psychology unfolding, one that has less to do with weakness and more to do with consciousness. See, for some people, being tired of existing isn't about wanting to die. It's about being overwhelmed by the constant demand to be someone, to perform identity, to justify presence, to keep up with meaning. This isn't about giving up. It's about reaching a quiet saturation point. You can often recognize these people by how they move through the world. They still function, they work, respond, and show up, but something in them has softened, slowed, withdrawn. They don't chase as much. They don't argue as fiercely. They don't dream out loud the way they used to. From the outside, they may seem calm, detached, minimal, almost stoic, but inside something else is happening. A gentle but persistent exhaustion, not of the body, but of being. Psychologists have noticed this pattern. When a person experiences prolonged emotional, cognitive, or existential overload, the nervous system doesn't always collapse. Sometimes it goes quiet, not numb but selective. This is not shut down. It's conservation. Because here's the reframe. It's not about being tired of life. It's about being tired of the conditions placed on life. The expectation to constantly improve, to optimize, to narrate your existence as progress. In a culture that turns identity into a project, rest becomes rebellion, and yet that rebellion is often misunderstood. For many people, this fatigue didn't begin suddenly. It built slowly through years of adaptation, emotional labor that went unseen, and holding themselves together while the world kept asking for more. At first, they tried to participate fully. They set goals, stayed hopeful, believed effort would lead to relief. But over time, something shifted. Achievement stopped feeling meaningful. Validation stopped landing. Even joy began to feel performative. Here's what's often misunderstood. People assume those who are tired of existing don't care. But often they cared deeply for a very long time. What disappeared wasn't interest, it was illusion. The psychological concept beneath this is existential fatigue, not depression, not apathy, but the exhaustion that comes from prolonged self-awareness in a world that doesn't slow down with you. When you see through the systems, the productivity loops, the dopamine cycles, the endless becoming, it becomes harder to pretend those things are enough. So the nervous system adapts. It lowers intensity, reduces desire, narrows focus, not because life is meaningless, but because meaning has been overstimulated. And in a society that rewards enthusiasm, this adaptation looks like disengagement. But let's be honest, most of what we call motivation today is externally fueled: metrics, attention, validation, momentum. We are taught to feel alive by being visible. So what happens when someone no longer wants to perform aliveness? Think about it. When was the first time you realized that simply being here required explanation, that rest needed justification, that quiet needed to be defended? And what part of you learned slowly and quietly that opting out felt safer than keeping up? Because not everyone who is tired of existing feels this way from peace. Some feel it from grief, disillusionment, from realizing that the life they were promised doesn't exist in the way they imagined. This is the paradox. The same withdrawal that looks like calm can be carrying unprocessed sadness. The same stillness that looks like wisdom can be protecting a tender wound. There's a philosophical layer here, because being tired of existing isn't just psychological, it's existential. In a world that constantly says be more, do more, express more, choosing less becomes an identity crisis, not because less is wrong, but because it doesn't translate well. So these people often feel out of sync, too aware for distraction, too sensitive for noise, too honest for performance. The longer someone lives this way, the more they begin to feel like an observer of their own life, participating just enough, withholding just enough. They feel deeply, but hesitate to attach those feelings to outcomes, and that tension is exhausting. Research shows that prolonged cognitive emotional self-monitoring increases mental fatigue and reduces reward sensitivity. The brain becomes efficient but cautious, less reactive, less hopeful, more real. This isn't pathology, it's adaptation. And yet, people shaped by this fatigue are often profoundly perceptive, thoughtful, philosophical, capable of depth most people never reach. Their tiredness isn't emptiness, it's saturation. Maybe that's what real awareness feels like. Not excitement but clarity, not urgency but discernment. Maybe some people are tired of existing because they've already asked the questions most people avoid, and they're still living, just without illusions. So if this feels familiar, you don't need to fix it, name it, or explain yourself. You can leave a comment if you want or don't. Your presence doesn't require proof. And the next time you notice someone moving slowly through life, not chasing, not performing, not striving the way they used to, don't assume they've given up. Maybe they've just stopped pretending, because being tired of existing doesn't mean you don't value life. It means you're no longer willing to trade your inner truth for external momentum. And perhaps the most radical thing you can do is keep living quietly, honestly, without needing to turn your existence into a justification. Sometimes, that's not weakness. That's awakening.